We are live. I was just trying to figure out my camera settings, and I will do that after I finish now because I think there's a way for me to improve the color, because you know how I've been showing you yarn and the color isn't great, and so the color can be a little bit off. Like I'm looking at my jersey and on the camera it looks pretty washed out, but actually it's such an intensely rich color. So I was just reading about it but before I clicked go, and apparently I can change something in my camera, which I thought I'd already done, but something hasn't changed, so I will do that. So hopefully you can get a crisp look and a better color, because it's been bugging me lately, this sort of washed out color. Hey everybody, it's so nice to see you. And it is a real blue undertone, which I think it actually isn't reflecting the color of the yarn so well. So we will see. It's a bit of a grey day here today, so I've got a few lights on. That might be changing things as well. It's a cold sort of day where it's a bit grizzly and dank. That's that sort of day. Your ginger snap is that color and yarn too. Oh, that's exciting. I'm trying to think who that is because I can't see your name, but it'll come to me, I'm sure. But yes, I am loving this jersey. I'm just loving this jersey. It is so cozy. It feels so easy and good to wear. So it has been my go-to jumper for. I've got a lot of work to do today. I've got a lot of work to do over the next 4 days, and it's my go-to just to do work. I think it's something to do with the fact that it has a slimmer fit through the arms, and I don't have to, my sleeves aren't in the way, you know. I like to get going, and so my sleeves aren't dangling, but I'm warm. I feel snug. My neck is warm. Everything's warm. So yeah, I'm ready to go. Okay. My ginger snap is too, someone says. Oh, nice. Are you loving the yarn behind me? Oh, you don't tell me I'm crackly again. Honest to goodness. This is crazy. I'm starting to think this is not me, because we've had wardrobe toolbox videos, haven't we, you guys? And they haven't been crackly. Maybe it's because I'm doing two at the same time. Let me just find out. We've had perfectly fine, uncrackled wardrobe toolbox website, you know, videos, no crackle. I'm just wondering if it's anyway, maybe I'll just say nothing and then there will be no crackle. Yeah, your voice is crackly. Oh guys, I don't know how to fix it. I've changed cords. It's not the microphone. I think maybe it's the software. Oh yay. I'll see if I can fix it. It'd be boring if all my podcasts are me trying to fix my sound, won't it? I've got my speakers fine. Maybe wires are touching things. I don't know. He wondered if it's something to do. This shed out here is solar powered, and he wondered if it was something to do with the solar, but I don't think it is, because I'm just looking at your comments. Because my other videos have been absolutely fine, haven't they? You guys have been on Wardrobe Toolbox, they've been fine. So that's really weird. Should I do anything to fix it? I'll get him to come here. I can talk to him for a minute. It's crackly. Yeah, so it's crackly on YouTube. Is it you guys? Yes, it's crackly on YouTube and Facebook. I'm wondering if it's both. I don't want to dump you YouTube people. Yes, as you say, no issues with Wardrobe Toolbox. Yeah. And that's Zoom. So I don't know what's happening. We're just going to see. Mr. Moodle's coming out. Hang on. I'm going to talk to him really quickly in the background. They're saying it's crackly. It's crackly on YouTube and Facebook, but the Zoom calls have been fine. Everybody's still here. So if you come on the screen, they'll see you. But you can talk to me quietly. But do you think it's anything I've changed? I've put the cord is the old cord, which was always fine. I don't know what I'm doing differently. Nothing. Inside. Yeah, but why wasn't it happening yesterday? I did a video yesterday, the day before I did a video. He can't work it out. He's going to try and work it out. What am I? Intermittently. Is my mic too close? I don't think so. I haven't done any different. Hang on. Can I happy? He says I should disconnect. So what I'll do is I'll disappear and then I'll come back. Okay? I'll disappear and then I'll reappear. So I'll see you in 5, and he's going to try and He's going to try and do something inside. All right. I'll see you back. Occasionally have this issue. I wonder if it's actually this software I'm using. Okay, but we'll try one thing and I'll be back in a moment. Better when I back off. Oh, I'm back. I was sniffing, but I'm back. Can you see that? Oh, I think I'm back. Tell me if I'm back and tell me if that's any better. He moved cords. I had a spoonful of my porridge while I was waiting. Not crackly. Okay, not crackly. We go like this. Everybody do this. Just one maybe, and we'll get going and we'll see if that works. Please. Someone said it was better when I sit back. Better? Not crackling? Better? Oh, it might be cords. Okay, let's just see. We'll see if I start crackling. He's coming back. Sorry about all this technical stuff. Apparently it's better. I'm not crackling at the moment. So he can stay here for a minute. Okay, right. All right, we'll get stuck into it. Yes, I have yarn behind me now. So I'm starting to organize myself. But I was saying the other day to the toolboxes that there's actually a lot of yarn. It's actually an awful lot of yarn and it looks empty, right? It looks like I need more yarn. I think I need more yarn. So because they should all be full, but I think maybe that's overdoing it if they're all full. There's a lot of yarn there. There's a lot of garments and there's more around the room. So I think I might have to just indulge in some new yarn and fill up some of the holes up the top, especially that. So that is my, Mr. Myrtle's still here. He's looking at me sideways now. Like you don't need more yarn. That is, no, I clearly do. That is all summer stuff. Look, I obviously need a lot more summer yarn, I think, in here. It looks like a shop after a sale. Yeah, the rooster's going for it. The rooster, he won't stop. He's going to keep on going. It does look a bit like a shop after a sale. So I think, look, the thing is I do use my yarn. This is all design yarn. I could do a small giveaway. Morgan, I need more yarn, not less yarn. But this is all yarn would use for patterns. And look, there's quite a lot of designs there. I only have like, you know, this much life and this much yarn. So for patterns, but we'll see. You might spy stuff up there and then all of a sudden it will appear as a garment or something. Someone said, I'm about to sort mine. I can't decide whether to do it based on weight or color or both. Right. So I sort mine by weight and kind of topic. So, but I haven't, and normally it would be slightly more organized than this. And I do like to sort by color because it looks pretty, but I didn't this time. But basically, I do keep various weights or ideas for things in different boxes. So I've got, that is my summer yarn. I can see it all together. That is lace weight yarn at the top. Now this, I've got definitely got garment yarn happening in here. There is some thicker yarn, but actually that is a DK. That this is all fingering. A lot of this is fingering yarn. A lot of that is fingering yarn and a sport weight yarn for garments. They're all garment lots. You can see there's more of them. And then as we move over, I've got sort of larger 2 skein shawl sort of colours and less. So I've got, these are all more or less shawl yarns. That's quite a bit of shawl yarn as well. But then I've got a garment lot just lying at the bottom there that I just got the other day. This is more or less garments. This one there, but that's thicker. That's thicker again, garments at the top. Those two over there, they're just all single. They're all thicker yarns, but they're singles. Add some decorative things. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Well, at the top, I've got some things at the top. So there's some yarn bowls at the top up there. Over there, my plant that needs recovering. I'll put some plants in here. That's all sock yarn. That's all mini skeins. And there's the truly metal yarn. Yeah, so I should do that. I will make some time next week. I'm busy from now till the end of the weekend, but I'll make some time next week and I'll make it. You can see what happens. I'll see if I make an improvement on it next week. Clear as a bell. Oh, well, that tells me it's a connection issue then. Oh, that's good. Mr. Myrtle seems to know what to do to fix it, so we should all be good. Right, I've got a pattern to show you. It's coming out tomorrow. It's a wardrobe toolbox pattern that people have been emailing me a lot about. When am I going to get it? And I actually just got one the other day, and I happily could say Friday. It's coming on Friday. So I'd forgotten I was going to do this right in the middle of getting us into our new wardrobe toolbox website. How do I keep it from fading and the critters getting in? So this, I'll answer that question really quickly. It's going to be interesting out here because I'm rural. So we have a lot of critters, a lot in the garden. And so that will be interesting. I'm going to have to get, I think I already use quite a lot of soap, the smelly things, and rosemary sachets and all those kind of things. So I think I'm just going to up that. In terms of the light, that's also a problem in New Zealand because the light is so intense. But this, so I'm looking south, and south is not our sunny side. So I don't get any direct sun. I get morning sun comes in this side and afternoon sun comes in this side, kind of, but it's actually not in direct sun. It's light and it's warm in here, but it's not directly. So I'm thinking I'm going to put a blind on one of the windows there and another one there. I just want to, that one I might make it so it's opaque, but this one I'll have a lighter blind, and I'll just see. I'm just going to have to touch it, move it, and all of those things. I've always had my yarn out, and it's been fine, but I'm just going to play around with that to make sure it stays fine. That's the thing. Need to get onto that shawl. Yes, you do need to get onto that shawl. So this is the new shawl. So it's Bejeweled shawl. It's a single skein. It's nice sometimes to have a single skein shawl. A, because they just use one skein. You can just grab one skein from your stash that you love and make a single skein shawl. And two, because they're actually really nice to wear for a change. Just wearing a little light layer. Now this one's looking quite brown on the screen, and it's not really brown. It's like a kind of a dirty mustardy gold. Still looks brown in the picture, but it's actually quite a sort of a real mustard color. It's very, very pretty yarn. And I just use one skein. And the nice thing about the short, I'll tell you, is you can really use a skein as long or as short as you have. So you can make the most of this yarn. So it's just once around your neck. and it's just a little simple one. And you'll see it has little beads all down the side. So it's called Bejeweled. It was a wardrobe toolbox pattern here, Bejeweled Shawl. And it has all these little, I didn't turn my emails off. It has all these little beads all down the side. So I've got tutorials in it. If you haven't done beading, it's quite a nice one to do. Oh, it looks old gold. Oh, good. Yeah, it is. It's a really pretty old gold. The yarn is from NNK, hand-dyed yarns, Australian yarn, NNK. And it's 60% merino, 20% silk, and 20% yak. And I've just remembered that I forgot to tell her I was about to release it. So I better send her an email and tell her that I'm about to release it, because she might want to have some more because the yarn is so pretty. It's merino, silk, yak. So it's got that dark undertone to it. It's got a real softness to it, but the silk gives it that lovely oozy drape to it. A silky drape. So the skein itself was only 366 meters, which is 400 yards. So it's not it's an average skein. It's not a very, very long skein, and it's just like a good standard skein. So so you can make the most of a longer shawl or a short. You can use, you know, some of those shorter shawls. Now, one of the nice things about it is that I give you instructions in the pattern on weigh it, work to here, now swap and weigh it, and then go back. So you can make the most of every single inch of it, and make sure that you aren't left with a big chunk of yarn at the end, or that you don't run out. So if your gauge is out, then you don't have to be quite so finicky about that, because your gauge can just work with the yarn you've got if you just grab a good pair of scales and you work according to the pattern and weigh it as you go. So that's always a nice one. I'm just going to see your comments. Oh, good, you like a one skein shawl. Yeah, I think they're the forgotten heroes sometimes, these one skein shawls, because they're so easy to wear. And for people that are don't consider themselves big shawl people, or just new to wearing more of their hand knitted accessories, I think single skein shawls are a really good entry point into wearing more shawls, because they're so easy to wear. They're not overwhelming, you know, acres and acres of knitwear draped around you dramatically. They're just subtle, and they're just easy, and they're light, but they're incredibly warm, beautifully warm, just where you need it. The light will fade on the ends. I've got a patchwork fabric fade with a line on it. Yes, fabric does that, and I haven't noticed it so much with my yarn. But I have had fabric that's, you know, I've inherited from my mum, or I've had since my teens, and it's definitely faded. And it seems to fade even when it's been in tubs. It's quite odd. But I guess it's been in the light at some point. But yeah, I can see that with the just going back to the fading. Anyway, this is really cool. Now, I always give you a sketch. We talked about this the other day, actually, at Wardrobe Toolbox. But I give you a sketch in the pattern of blocking. So you'll see it blocks into quite a horseshoe shape. So block it like that to get the most out of it, I think, in terms of drape and the way to wear it. A really lovely horseshoe. The other thing to remember about it is it's going to grow. Yeah, the pattern will be in Ravelry and on my website. Yeah. So it's going to grow. It's going to grow a lot, because all of the center part is garter. So garter has a tendency to want to grow and grow and grow. And of course, the lace on the end will also grow. So you do want to give it a good stretch when you're blocking it out. I do, because it makes the most of all of these things that are happening on the edge here. You want to give that edge a nice amount of room to breathe. You've got some more lace work. You've got your faggoting in here, it's called. And then you've got a little cable in here, which you want to accentuate. You want to see that cable in it. So as well as letting this garter ooze out. So give it a good block. I use wires and then run it through the tips, but you don't have to. I think, I'm just going to see how many. Yeah, there are 58 beads. Depending on how much longer you make it, you might need a few more. Depending if you make it shorter, you might need a few less. You could make it as long as you like, really, because then you could wind it twice. So if you do have one of those very, very long, you know, 3-ply sort of heavy lace, light fingering skeins that go up to about 500 meters, you could actually make a beautifully long, very, very light one. and then just wind it twice, like I do with Antipodes or Flicker. Those are the two shawls that I have very long, and I wind those twice. Someone said, I made my Bejeweled a little longer by not going to the full stitch count in the middle. I knitted more rows with less stitches in the middle, and it gave me an extra 4 inches, which I needed for my neck. That's a really nice idea. So you didn't actually make it wider as you went along, because, and that's actually a really nice idea to change it like that. It's not terribly wide, but if you don't want to make it any wider, just knit straight for a while in the middle without the increases, and then turn around and come back down the other side. Your scales are your friend when you're knitting like this. Your scales are your friend. You want to make sure that you've used the same amount of yarn going in as you're using going out. So your scales are your friend. And a nice pair of kitchen scales, I have dedicated kitchen scales out here that I use for yarn, and they go to the gram. And that way I can estimate, I can estimate how much I've used, or I can calculate things to the gram. The ones that go to 5 grams, I think, are less helpful when it comes to knitting. I like the ones that go to the individual grams. So they're an essential piece of my knitting kit, my scales. I don't often mention them actually, but they are. Oh, you made a Bejeweled for your friend. Oh, that's fantastic. Lucky thing. Someone says, I stretch my shawls quite aggressively when I block them, not seeing the lace design, which is not easy to see pre-blocking. Oh, you love seeing it. That's exactly what I do. I am an aggressive shawl blocker. So I block my shawls out big. I like to get them all big. Generally, they'll start to kind of move back a little bit, but I like a well blocked shawl, and so I have a tendency to do that. So when you see my shawls, you know that about them. I block them hard. I really get the lace out, and I get them all opening up and oozing and big, and really letting the stitches shine. So I think that's I'm with you on that. Now the beading is when we did this in Wardrobe Toolbox, it came with lessons around beading, and we talked about beading. We talked about different ways of beading and applying beads, and it was a really interesting lesson for me to put together, as well as I think for everybody that was doing it. And I have got a method that I used in this, which is a very, very simple method that I used for this shawl, which I've made tutorials on. So they're all linked to the pattern, and you can find those. In the pattern, there's a hyperlink on the digital pattern, and you click that, it'll take you straight over to my website where you'll find the tutorial for the shawl. You can also find it by just going to my website tutorials page. So it's trudymyrtle.com/tutorials, and you'll find the tutorial there for it as well. But it just shows you how to apply these pretty little beads along the edge. Now, if you're not a beady person, you don't have to apply the beads. You can just do a PK edge just as is. But I would encourage you, if you like the look of this shawl, I would encourage you to block out the PKs so that you get that nice edge to it. I think it's a really special edge. Oh, I've got lots of South Africans here. South African living in Cape Town and South African living in Australia. That's nice. We could all say hello to each other. Oh, that's good. So those are the main things I wanted to tell you. One skein of yarn. Think about the yarn you're going to use. Obviously, I used something with silk in it, but it also had a bit of that yak, and so that gives it that slight dark halo to it, which is difficult to see on screen, but it has a sort of dark undertones to it. You might want to make yours clear and bright, in which case I would avoid the yak. I would go for a silk merino, but you could also go for a high twist superwash merino. Would give you a similar look, and at it probably at a slightly more affordable, at a slightly better price. I'm not sure whether the price will be all that different, but it might be a little bit different. And so I would choose something. Yeah, think about it before you start. If you're going to use like a woolen spun or something with a really significant halo to it, even something with a cashmere is going to be a little bit more like this, but even more soft and kitteny if you choose something like that. So if you want crisp, go for those, crisp yarns, high twist, probably not a single spun, probably want a multiples plies. If you want something that's a little bit sort of more everyday and softer, then you could go for single spun merinos, go for things that have the yaks and the cashmeres and those sort of things added to them. They'll soften everything up and they will relax it slightly. If you want to go really relaxed, kind of, you know, throw it over your neck at the beach kind of thing, that barbecue evening relaxed, go for something with like a little fleck of linen in it. That would be lovely. Or some of those raw silks where you actually see the white fleck coming through. I think that really changes the look of things. Or a tweed. A tweedy yarn would also, I think, bring it back to a slightly less stressy yarn. So you can see that there's, depending on where you start with the yarn, that really will set the tone for the kind of garment that you're making. And of course, the shawl, and of course, color. Of course, your color will make a big difference as well, whether you go black for a sort of a evening concerts, or at the cathedral, or whether you go sort of electric pink for something that's a real pop. Though all of those things will make a difference to your final shawl and the way it turns out. Off to the airport, got your test. Oh, you're going to come and you're coming to New Zealand tonight. That's excellent, Becky. Off to the airport, got your test in it. Hope they don't want my needles. Yep, definitely hope they don't want your needles. You just can't tell these days whether they will or they won't. My sister went to the UK and they told her not to take needles on the airplane, so she popped them somewhere else. I don't know what she did with them. Maybe she, I can't remember at the end what happened, but she didn't take her needles on the plane. Morgan says, I'm doing a shawl test in 50-50 merino silk and 50-50 baby camel silk. Yes, I forgot about camel. That will give you that lovely, that's that same kitteny softness that we get out of things like cashmere, that camel, just that, it's in the baby alpacas. You know, if you think of those little tiny furry animals, not that camels are tiny and furry, but baby camel, we think about a baby. Though just that soften it just softens it all down. I think it's quite a feminine thing to inject into things. That very, very soft to feel and very gentle kind of vibe, I think, comes in with those from Hani Huli. Oh, she does some beautiful yarn. So yeah, think yarn, think color, think where you want to wear it, and then think beads. And are you going to do what I did? And are you going to have your beads that just tone in with your shawl? So they're there and they definitely have a little feature, but they don't jump out at you. Or are you going to go for something that has a really pronounced bead on it that gives a real pop to the end? I could have chosen a real charcoal bead at the end, and that would have given me a one kind of look. If I'd chosen something that was very white, sort of a crystal bead, that would have given me another look entirely. So think about what it is. What is the overall look that you're going for with your beads? Now, we did tons of lessons about different beads that you can use, and it will vary on the weight of yarn that you use. But if you go for the the fingering yarn that I recommend, then I've said to use 58 number 6 or 4mm needs seed beads, 4mm seed beads. If you need more of the shawl is extended, you'll also need a tiny crochet hook or similar, small enough to fit through the hole in the beads. Now, I think in the tutorial, I haven't actually gone back and had a look at it, but I'm pretty sure in the tutorial, I've showed you how to do it with a tiny, tiny, tiny crochet hook and without, because I actually quite like doing it with a needle and thread. It's pretty easy to do, put the beads on with a needle and thread. So I'm pretty sure I showed you both in the tutorial. I'm pretty sure I did. Sharon said hot pink with orange beads for Brisbane summer. You got it, Sharon. That's exactly it. That you know, totally reflecting your environment and giving you just feel like you just fit it in, wouldn't you, on a hot summer? Fabulous. Bianca, I've never knitted with beads. Something new. It's fun. It looks way harder than it is. It's really not tricky, and I show you a nice easy way to do it. Someone else mentioned that it's reversible, and it is almost reversible. It is almost. You can see that's the right side and that's the wrong side. They're almost the same. The only difference is the cable isn't pronounced on the wrong side, but the right and wrong sides, really, you're not going to notice that they're not identical. Oh, good. Sharon says, yes, my tutorial was with and without the beads. Great.
Where do you find the beads? So depends on where you are, Muriel. I got mine from a place in New Zealand called the Bead Queen. That's where I got my beads from. Online shop called the Bead Queen. Sometimes you'll find them in like little hobby store kind of things. And but I would have a little search online. You could always tell each other in the Hangout over on our Facebook group where you're getting your beads from. A good place to find beads. It's getting the beads that are the right size, so they're not too small, because you can get very, very tiny beads, and you can get much bigger beads that'll just pop off the end. The way I put them on, they won't pop off because you go through the bead. You sort of catch the bead. I don't know if you're going to see that. It's just too tiny, but you catch the bead with the yarn. And so yeah, have a little hunt around online for beads. But yeah, I used a woman called the Bead Queen. There are people that just sell beads because, of course, you use them for jewelry. A lot of people use beads for jewelry. I used a 0.75 millimeter crochet hook or a bead needle. You can get, there's all sorts of different tools that you can use to put beads on, but don't fret, because it sounds like I did include in the tutorial a way to do it just with a sewing needle and thread. And I think most of us have got a sewing needle and thread around. I did get, I have got little teeny crochet hooks, and they are pretty easy to use. But if you don't want to stop and you've got yarn and you just want to get going and you've got beads, then just use a needle and thread if you've got them. Okay. The New Zealand website and the airport security site say that needles are okay. Just remember, small blunt, no scissors. Good. Okay. Morgan suggesting craft stores, Lynn Craft, Spotlight in New Zealand, and haberdashery stores. Yep. Someone else is saying Dreamfire Artisan Yarns has some Bejeweled kits on their website. Yay! Which is yarn with matching beads. Okay, did you hear that, you guys? So Dreamfire Yarns in New Zealand, Dreamfire, have actually put together some Bejeweled kits. So that was awesome. So you can actually get the beads and the yarn. They all match. Do I choose colours to go with your sweaters? I have a few problems in that the shawl I have knitted doesn't go with any sweaters, and it's really frustrating. I don't usually, but having said that, I have an awful lot of sweaters. So it'll go with something, I think. But I think eventually, when you keep choosing colours that you love, that you really, really just have a visceral reaction to, that you really love, eventually things go together. And otherwise I just wear them together anyway, and I just think, this is just what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to wear it. But I also think more than color, I do, when I'm putting together an outfit, I'm going out and grabbing a shawl to finish off an outfit, and I'm walking out the door, I also think about texture, size, finishing, whether it's got buttons or not buttons, or a shawl cuff, and whether that's going to be a leather one or I think about all of it, not just the color. So for me, there's sort of scope for having quite a few different things depending on how I'm dressing. Am I, an outfit like this, I'm probably not going to wear this shawl because to me it's more dressy. I might wear it with, it depends. I wouldn't necessarily wear it dressy, but yeah, I'd wear it differently. I'd probably wear something which is a little bit more, I'd probably wear a bigger shawl with this jumper. I'd wear maybe something that had a couple of colors in it. I could wear that one of mine with the buttons on it. That would be interesting. It would bring another sort of interesting to it. I think of all sorts of things. But yeah, frustrating. If you know what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to knit a sweater to go with the shawl. I think that's what you might have to do. That would be quite a good solution. Ruth says, I use fine, soft wire bent in half to thread the beads. Yeah, that's a nice idea too, Ruth. Really, really fine wire. Claire said, I got mine from Honey Hoolies. Oh, good. So that was beads. Awesome. Someone said to Susan, who asked the other question about the shawl, didn't match. I always tried to knit my shawls in one color only. And then I guess you can mix and match. And someone else is saying that she goes for neutral colors. Neutral colors is a way to go. Yeah. I can't wear neutral colors. I look like I'm dead. I won't lie down. There we go. Well, wear pops. But I think the thing is, you could grab a little bit of the pop and pop it into your garment. Or you could just get something that tones together, that you don't have to be all pop. but something that tones together. And then maybe your garments are more neutral. And then, I mean, this color that I'm wearing is actually a really good neutral color. It goes with so many different things. Someone says I like blue, charcoal, gold color, royal red. I think there's something about leaping in with confidence, with a you know, a I don't care, I'm doing it anyway attitude to your colors that you wear. And I think the thing is, if people, you know, some people get known for wearing certain colors and you don't think twice about it, or other people just look so, I mean, I don't really think twice about it anyway. I think we worry more about what we're doing than anybody else, to be honest. So I think when you kind of, when you're doing something because it feels really good to you, then it looks good. I think you can carry it off. It's just all, you know, we just have to kind of just feel the fear and do it anyway. Is that what they say? Feel the fear and do it anyway. I got mine from the bead hold. Be careful with cheaper beads. The holes in the bead may not be consistent. You might need extras. That's actually a really good point with the beads. If you go, I would tend to go to a bead place rather than just buy any old random beads, because they definitely will vary. The random beads won't be uniform necessarily. So I think that's a good piece of advice, actually. Be careful with cheaper beads. If you're going to, you know, you don't need that many. You just need a little tiny. You really don't need that many. Interesting. I always do my shawls in a bright pop because my clothes are more neutral. There we go. That's the way of doing it. Yeah, put a pop of something in the shawl to go with the sweater. Yeah, that's a nice idea, Susan. Neutrals can be colors. I wear a lot of neutrals. This color, I think some of the more gingery colors I wear can be good neutrals as well. Some of the greens are really good neutrals. I think that you can have a lot of pretty good neutral. Oh, that aubergine color, this is sort of a plum, but that real aubergine color can be a really nice neutral as well. And they just go with so many things. I have a bright lime green in my Haven, for example. Oh, yes, nice. Just to pull it all together. Lovely. And yep, Sharon's right. Usually no one else notices what we stress over. It is true. It's a good exercise in it's a good exercise, isn't it? Just feeling a kind of in yourself, I think. Oh, Shona adds a bright lipstick. I eat lipstick off. I just eat it all off. I had lipstick on. I eat it all off. I struggle with bright lipstick because I just eat it off. Unless you immediately point it out. Like immediately I tell visitors I haven't dusted. Like they wouldn't even notice. You don't want to come to my house. I actually sat in the sitting room the other day. I'm going to clean the house next week. I sat in the sitting room the other day and I just said, honestly, you'd think we lived in the Addams family home, because I can see a cobweb like this long hanging off the ceiling. We've got really high vaulted ceilings, and it's like 3 feet long hanging off the roof. But you know, you're not going to come. You won't. I won't even tell you where it is in the sitting room. You won't look. You just don't look up. Come into my house. Just don't look up. That's the rule at the moment. But I am going to clean the house next week when I get all this other stuff out of the way. Okay, so that is Bejeweled. So Bejeweled is the new, lovely new shawl that you've got. She has got, she's got the guide for you just to do the blocking. You can use your scales and make her the length you need. Grab some pretty beads if you want to go with that. And I've got a tutorial that shows you how to use those. She's got written instructions, and she also has charts. So you can take your pick and use written instructions or charts. And I'm thinking what else she has in there. I've got more tutorials at the back. Yep, she's pretty full and she's ready for you. So I will get her all ready this afternoon and she will go live. If you're on my mini mag list, if you're not on, hop on my mini mag list. Just go to trulymyrtle.com/mini mag. And then I will send you a code that you can use on Ravelry or my website to grab your Bejeweled shawl with a discount. And Ravelry will save it in your library, and my new website will also save it in your library, which is really exciting. So if you're worried about not having access to again or storing it somewhere, I mean, I do recommend. I was actually talking about this with someone the other day. I do think it's a really good idea just to have a Dropbox folder or some sort of online storage for your patterns, so that you just pop PDFs in there so you know where they are and you can find them again. But also, if you are a printer, if you like printing them out, have them in a folder and print them all out like we used to in the olden days when we had hard copies of things, just so you know where they are. But if you do like to store things in digital libraries on someone else's website, then you could use Ravelry because they will store yours there. But also now you can do it on my website too. So when you buy when you buy the PDF copy, when you buy a hard copy, when you buy the actual paper copy off me, which you can buy, then you will automatically get a PDF sent to you and it will automatically be saved in your little online library that I have for you. When you sign into my website, it will be there. You can get it again. But if you just buy the PDF, the same thing will happen. So you'll get the PDF, immediately will be emailed to you, and then it will be stored on my little website. Yep. Google Drive is a good option too. Yes, I don't know much about Google Drive, but I hear people using Google Drive a lot. So I think that there'll be something that works for you that you like. You're about to go to sleep. Enjoy the day. Oh, Lyneth, it's lovely to see you. Okay, and Sharon's off to get the beads. Yes, you need roses with blooms cut off. Yes, this is Sharon with her acreage. Yes, yep, a lot of cobwebs come with this property. So so that's us for Bejeweled. It'll all be up tomorrow. You'll get an email in your inbox telling you it's here, and you can go and grab it and have fun. Have fun. Next month over in the wardrobe I get all my things tangled. Next month in October in the Truly Myrtle Hangout on Facebook, we're going to have a big mammoth shawl knit along. So we've got this one to choose from now. You've got any of my old shawls to choose from. There'll be lots of things that you can just dive into, and we're going to have a Truly Myrtle shawl knit along, and you just go for it. Let's just get some shawls made. Be parties coming up to Christmas that you might want to put on something fancy for. Maybe they'll make fantastic gifts for people in your life. Some of these single skein shawls will make beautiful gifts. So join us for this big shawl knit along. There'll be posts and things put up about it, but that will start in October over in the Hangout. I know there's quite a few knit alongs happening at the moment, but if you want to join that shawl-a-thon, there won't be any particular pattern, but you can grab any of the Truly Myrtle shawls, and there are quite a lot now. There are actually quite a lot of Truly Myrtle shawls. There must be, I'd say there's about 70, maybe. Do you think there's that many? I think there are, because there's like 100 patterns. So there must be about 70, because I've probably got about 30 garments, I reckon. That's my guess. I have no, I'm just guessing, but I think that's about right. Yeah, Morgan's telling us it's going to be a very informal knit along. But she'll make posts. So Morgan is going to help me out, and she's going to run it for us, and it's going to be very, very chilled. Very chill. I might actually have some prizes. I might do some prizes at the end. I might do some random prizes for beautiful shawls that inspire me to design another shawl. How about that? All right, everybody, have a lovely, lovely week. Watch out for my video tomorrow. Come and join us over in the Hangout next month. It'll be great to see you there. Some of you are already there because you're watching this, and do lots of knitting. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you next week. Okay, everybody. Bye.